So the Surgeon General said loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Did that report change anything for your work, or did it just confirm what you kind of already knew?
It confirmed what we already knew, but it also showed us that it's starting to get the attention that it needs. And I think a lot of that came out during COVID. I think during COVID, people who never really understood that impact of loneliness or isolation started to feel it themselves. Whether they were working remotely and no longer interacting with their coworkers, you don't realize what that does for you until you no longer have it. And so being home, being isolated, not being able to leave your home, I think people started to really paying attention to the impact loneliness had on them as a person. And not that it just happens to everybody else and not ourselves. People felt that or saw it in their loved ones. And I think the attention that it's starting to get is very necessary. Whether you're someone who's been working your whole life and you go to retire, that is a shift in your life. That your identity was work. Your friends may have been work. And then all of a sudden you're not getting up every day to go and see your friends at work or your colleagues or having those conversations. It can significantly impact your life. And you have to really be intentional about how you're going to make those connections going forward. So you still have them in some way or another. But not everyone thinks about that until it happens, until you feel it. But you can really prevent it by being intentional about building those connections. So I think it validated what we already knew, and it helped us to tell our story more and say, we've been doing this for over 50 years. We know the importance of it. Let's keep talking about it, because the more we're talking about it, the more people are going to feel less like it's only them who feels that way. But it's actually more common.
1 in 5 adolescents report being lonely. Are you seeing that in your youth programs? What does loneliness look like for a 12-year-old?
Well, of course, I'm going to talk about social media and phones because I think that's playing a big role for the youth across the world. We're seeing youth who don't always know how to connect.
I would, so is there a positive and a negative aspect to social media?
I do, in my opinion, yes. I think the negative part is you can withdraw from in-person social interaction because you're face down, you're in your phone, and that's who you're interacting with. And that's where your comfort is. The positive is you're accepted with whomever you're connected with on your phone. You're finding the groups of people that you identify with that accept you as you are, even though your only interaction is through your phone or whatever system you're using. So there are pros and cons. It has to be used wisely, and it has to be used in a safe way, and not spending too much time on it. So a balance of both. I think we see a lot of youth who experienced middle school and high school during COVID lost that life skill of knowing how to interact face to face with people, have conversation, even start a conversation. So we want that to continue. We want them to be interacting in person. And we see a lot of kids who struggle with even coming to our office to have that interaction is anxiety provoking.